Good morning, students. We start with general embryology. After the discussion of primitive germ cell, which was the female germ cell, we come to the next level. In the same process, we start with oogenesis. So the next stage will be oogenesis, which is many a times asked as a short knot. So oogenesis, we write here double O, the spelling starts with double O. In oogenesis, the definition. In the definition of oogenesis, it is a process of maturation of primordial female germ cells from the stage of primary oocyte till the mature ovum. So this is the definition of oogenesis. Once again, I'll repeat, it is the final stage of the maturation of female germ cells. That is the primordial female germ cell from the stage of primary oocyte till the maturation into mature ovum. It will pass through various stages, and as this definition goes, oogenesis, it will pass through two major stages. The first, meiotic division, which is known as heterotypical division, or it is called reduction division, and second, meiotic division, which is known as homotypical division. Homotypical division. So oogenesis will pass through these two processes, meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. And of course we know the first meiosis is reduction division. Now, considering this definition and these 2 points of oogenesis, always note down that at the time of puberty or after puberty, during each and every monthly menstrual cycle, there will be maturation of around 5 to 12 ovarian follicles. And out of this 5 to 12 monthly menstrual cycle maturation of ovarian follicles, only one follicle will rupture and will release oocyte. That oocyte is released from the ovary into the fallopian tube during the process of ovulation. So this sentence is important, you have to remember this. Therefore, the remaining follicles, what will happen to the remaining follicles? They will become atretic and they will undergo degenerative changes. So, after this definition of oogenesis, we start with the maturation process. So what is the process of maturation of oogenesis, or rather what are the stages of oogenesis? Now this maturation process will pass through various stages which are very interesting. So therefore, in order to pass through these maturation processes, we start from where we had left yesterday. Yesterday we had discussed the female germ cell and we had left the female germ cell. From there we are going to start. So therefore, at this stage, please note down that the female germ cell is at the level of primary oocyte, and at this stage the primary oocyte will complete its prophase of first meiotic division. Therefore, as the primary oocyte completes the prophase of first meiotic division, it is surrounded by primary follicle, and that primary follicle is constituted by the follicular cells which are columnar in size and shape, columnar. Before that it was known as primordial follicle, where the follicular cells were having flat appearance. Now the primary follicle will have columnar cells surrounding the primary oocyte, and this primary oocyte at this stage has completed prophase of first meiotic division, or it has entered the process of the prophase of first meiotic division. Therefore, at this stage we have to draw, this will be the primary oocyte which we are drawing, and this primary oocyte, in the center it will have a nucleus. Now please note down, this nucleus of primary oocyte will be arranged in the eccentric manner. So it is located at one particular end of the primary oocyte. the nucleus. So eccentric position of the nucleus of primary oocyte. Now, this primary oocyte will have how many chromosomes diploid? So it will have 44 autosomes and 2 X chromosomes. So therefore total 46 chromosomes, diploid character. Nucleus is eccentric in position. Surrounded by cells. Now these cells which are surrounding, as I had discussed with you, these cells will be columnar because it is a primary follicle. So therefore here we will show these are the columnar variety of cells, follicular cells which are surrounding the primary oocyte. Now always note down, at this stage we had studied that the size of primary oocyte is 35 microns. Now suddenly the size of primary oocyte will increase to 140 microns. It will increase till 140 microns. And because of this increase in the size, now the appearance of the primary oocyte will change, in which the nucleus is at eccentric position. Nucleus is of course diploid in characteristic feature, where it has 44 autosomes and 2 X chromosomes. The surrounding follicular cells are columnar, but now the surrounding follicular cells will change its size and shape, and also in number. So what will happen to this primary follicle now? This primary follicle becomes secondary follicle, where there will be 2 or more layers of cuboidal cells. That also we have studied in the last segment. So therefore, now these follicular cells will change into cuboidal cells, and those cuboidal cells will multiply, and therefore it forms secondary ovarian follicle. So therefore now our next diagram, after this our next diagram, but before we start the next diagram, always note down, which we have studied in the last topic also, in the female germ cell, there will be development of a covering, a membrane which is called zona pellucida. And this zona pellucida is a striated membrane loaded with glycoprotein, and it gives striated appearance. And this zona pellucida is developed either by primary oocyte or by follicular cells or by both. So accordingly, which is the following pattern which is given in the books. This zona pellucida is either developed by primary oocyte, or it is developed by follicular cells, or by both. And this zona pellucida with pink color, you can show that this is where the zona pellucida is present. And this zona pellucida is always present between primary oocyte and follicular cells. Now, in the second stage of oogenesis, this is the primary follicle. We need to show the secondary ovarian follicle, where we need to show that these columnar cells will become multi-layered cuboidal cells. So therefore, the second diagram which follows will be in this way. So here I will rub this, and I will show once again the second stage diagram. Now in the second stage diagram, first we need to show this is zona pellucida, and inside the zona pellucida, this is the primary oocyte, cell membrane of primary oocyte, and inside there will be this nucleus which is eccentrically placed. It is in eccentric position in primary oocyte. Surrounding the cells which you have to draw. Now these are the cells which are cuboidal. So very fast you can draw this cuboidal variety of cells, and these cells will multiply. So therefore we are showing it is multi-layered cuboidal cells. So very fast I am drawing multi-layered cuboidal cells. These are the follicular cells which have multiplied, multi-layered. So therefore these cells, we put some nuclei inside these cells, and therefore this is the second diagram in the stages of oogenesis. Now you have to mark. If you mark this, then this is the primary oocyte cell membrane. This is zona pellucida. This is the nucleus of primary oocyte, and these are the follicular cells that have multiplied into various layers. This is the second stage, the second diagram in the entire process of oogenesis. Now, third stage, very interesting. In the third stage, what we shall do will be, there will be development of various fluid-filled follicular cavities, spaces. So that is what we need to draw. So therefore, here I will rub and create some fluid-filled follicular spaces. So therefore, some of the spaces we will create here, and we will line those spaces. These are the spaces which we need to show. So fluid-filled follicular spaces which are present in between the various follicular cells. So here we are showing the spaces which are present in between the various follicular cells. This is, once again I'll repeat, the second stage in the entire process of development of oogenesis. So here I am completing the follicular cells. And therefore, we are going to put the nuclei in these cells, follicular cells. So therefore, after completing the nuclei, here, third stage. So in the marking, one more feature we have to add. We have to add these as the fluid-filled follicular spaces. The fluid-filled follicular spaces which are created in between the follicular cells. Very simple. So this is the third stage. Now we enter the fourth stage. In the fourth stage, what will happen will be, as these changes are taking place, what will happen is these follicular spaces will coalesce with each other. They will join with each other. They will form a huge horseshoe-shaped cavity, single cavity. So all these spaces have coalesced with each other. They have fused with each other, and they will form a huge horseshoe-shaped cavity, which is called follicular cavity or antrum cavity. So therefore, that is a diagram which we need to draw. So therefore, in order to draw that diagram, once again, I will rub this and we will draw that entire diagram of the single antrum cavity or follicular cavity. So therefore, here we should always start with zona pellucida. Of course, we are going to draw here at this level. We are drawing zona pellucida. Now, inside zona pellucida, we will draw. This will be the cell membrane. This will be the cell membrane of the secondary oocyte. Please draw alongside with me. And here, this will be the nucleus. This is the nucleus of the oocyte. This much we have to draw. Now, what we shall do will be, we shall draw one entire fluid-filled cavity, because all those numerous small cavities have coalesced with each other, and therefore antrum cavity, or it is called follicular cavity. And remember, that cavity which I am drawing is horseshoe-shaped cavity, and therefore this is the cavity which I will draw in this manner. This is how I have drawn. Please draw this. So therefore now I will write here antrum cavity, or it is called follicular cavity. It is filled with what substance? Liquor folliculi. Please note down. It is filled with, here I have written liquor folliculi. So this antrum cavity is filled with liquor folliculi. Now what will happen? Because of this creation of huge horseshoe shaped antrum cavity, the entire follicular cells are split into two layers, outer, inner. The outer will be known as stratum granulosum and inner is cumulus ovaricus. So therefore now I am going to draw the follicular cells which has been split into two layers. The outer layer, see here, this is the outer layer of cells, follicular cells, and this is called stratum granulosum, or it is called membrana granulosa cells. So it has two different names, stratum granulosum or membrana granulosa cells. So here we have drawn membrana granulosa cells or stratum granulosum, where we will put some nuclei inside these cells, follicular cells. These are the nuclei which we are going to put inside, and we will name these cells as, please note down, it is called membrana granulosa cells, or its second synonym, second name, stratum granulosum layer, stratum granulosum layer or membrana granulosa cells. Second layer of cells after the splitting of follicular cells, inner, which will lie here surrounding the zona pellucida or in between zona pellucida and the antrum cavity or follicular cavity. They are cumulus ovaricus. So here we will draw these follicular cells, and these follicular cells will be known as cumulus ovaricus. So they will be known as cumulus ovaricus. This is what we have drawn. Now we'll put some nuclei inside. We shall put some nuclei inside. So therefore these are the cells of cumulus ovaricus. And now we will name this layer. So therefore we shall name this layer as cumulus ovaricus. C-U-M-U-L-U-S O-V-A-R-I-C-U-S. So very simple, the follicular cells have split now because of the creation of a huge antrum cavity or liquor follicular cavity, where it is filled with liquor folliculi, follicular cavity. It will split the entire follicular cells into two layers, outer, inner. The outer will be known as stratum granulosum or membrana granulosa. Inner will be known as cumulus ovaricus. Please note down. This is very important. Now the last change that will take place throughout this process of oogenesis will be, now say this is the last change in the development of one mature follicle, which is called Graafian follicle. And Graafian follicle is one of the important stages in oogenesis. Many a times this is asked as a short note. Write a short note on Graafian follicle only, where you have to pass through all these stages. So here we are going to reach the stage of Graafian follicle, and that will be the final diagram. So now what will happen will be, after the development of membrana granulosa cells and cumulus ovaricus, the surrounding cells, now remember this entire follicle is within the connective tissue of the ovary, within the stromal cells of the ovary or within the stroma of ovary, that is connective tissue of the ovary. So the stromal cells of ovary which are surrounding this follicle will undergo certain changes. And those changes which it will undergo will be, it will develop into a thick layer which is called theca folliculi. So therefore now, please note down, the surrounding stromal cells of ovary will develop into one thick layer which is called theca folliculi. Next point will be, this theca folliculi will split into two layers, outer, inner. The inner layer will be cellular and more vascular, which is called theca interna. And the outer layer will be fibrous, which will be known as theca externa, two layers which we need to draw. So therefore, the inner layer will be known as, for example, the inner layer I will draw here in the form of green color, and this inner layer, green color which I am drawing, is the theca interna. This is a cellular layer and it is also vascular layer. So please note down. Here we need to note down this as theca interna. This is a cellular and vascular layer. Outer layer now, I will draw the outer layer in the form of yellow color, and this outer layer will be known as theca externa. It is more fibrous layer. So this layer is a more fibrous layer, more of a fibrous layer. So therefore here we will mark this as theca externa. So therefore this is a fibrous layer, theca externa. So theca folliculi, which has been differentiated from stromal cells of ovary, or rather the stromal cells of ovary will undergo a change which will develop into a thick layer which is called theca folliculi. This theca folliculi will split into two layers, theca interna and theca externa. Theca interna is more cellular and vascular, and theca externa is more of a fibrous layer. And now what will happen will be, there will be changes in this primary oocyte. Now at this stage, after the development of theca folliculi and after the development of membrana granulosa cells and cumulus ovaricus, please note down the primary oocyte will complete its first meiotic division. Entire first meiotic division is completed. The primary oocyte will complete its first meiotic division, as a result of which it will divide into secondary oocyte and first polar body, which we need to place over here. In order to place that secondary oocyte and first polar body over here, please come on this side, so that we should be able to understand. Please come here with a flow chart. This flow chart is very important in oogenesis. Now the flow chart goes like this. Here we show one round cell, and that round cell we will show 44 autosomes plus 2X chromosomes, diploid nature, and we will name this as the primitive female germ cell. So it is known as the primordial female germ cell, the primordial germ cell, primordial female germ cell. That process we have seen during the discussion of the female germ cell lecture. So here it will undergo, what it will undergo? The normal process of mitosis. So here it will undergo the process of mitosis. Please note down in this way flow chart. The primordial female germ cells will undergo mitosis to develop into oogonia. So therefore here I will draw the two oogonia, and here I will write oogonium or oogonia plural. So this is oogonia. Again it is mitosis. So number of chromosomes will remain same, 44 plus XS, 44 plus X plus X. So total 44 autosomes and the 2X chromosomes, so it will lead to 46 chromosomes diploid. That also we have seen. Now this oogonia, one of the oogonium will undergo process of transformation without dividing. It will undergo transformation into primary oocyte. So here I will draw this primary oocyte, and I will write down this is the primary oocyte, where one of the oogonium has undergone a process of transformation without dividing into primary oocyte, and the number of chromosomes will remain the same, 44XX. And now we come to the first meiotic division. The primary oocyte will undergo, this is very interesting and very important, it will undergo the first meiotic division. So please note down, this is the first meiotic division, and therefore it will lead to development of two varieties of cells. One cell will acquire majority of the cytoplasm from primary oocyte, the other cell will acquire small amount of cytoplasm from primary oocyte. The cell which acquires maximum amount of cytoplasm will be known as secondary oocyte, and the smaller cell which will receive less amount of cytoplasm will be known as the first polar body. So this is the first polar body, smaller. But since it is first meiotic division, so reduction division, so number of chromosomes will split into half. It is a reduction division. So therefore here we will mention this as 22 and X. 22 autosomes and 1 X chromosome. So total out of 46 we divide into 23, total 23, and here also 23. So 22X in first polar body. Now first meiotic division is over. So therefore, as a result of first meiotic division, secondary oocyte and first polar body, now we have to accommodate these two cells. Please come on this side. Secondary oocyte will be accommodated here as a result of completion of first meiotic division. This is the cell membrane of secondary oocyte, and first polar body will be placed in the space which is present between zona pellucida and the cytoplasm of primary oocyte. So, not primary oocyte but secondary oocyte, because primary oocyte has completed its first meiotic division. So, because of completion of first meiotic division, primary oocyte will divide into two cells. This is the secondary oocyte and this is the first polar body. Once again I repeat, the first polar body will be located in the space which is created between zona pellucida and the cytoplasm of secondary oocyte. So therefore here this is the first polar body and we will mark these two cells. So this marking is very important here. We will mark this as first polar body, and this cell we will mark this as secondary oocyte. So therefore now this diagram, our diagram is complete. Now the mature follicle which contains secondary oocyte and first polar body is known as Graafian follicle. So the name of this follicle at this stage is Graafian follicle. So I will write down over here, this is known as Graafian follicle. Now please note down the spelling, which is very important. Graafian, or according to some books it is given Graafian, Graafian follicle. So Graafian follicle is a stage of mature ovarian follicle in which there is presence of secondary oocyte and first polar body, and this Graafian follicle is present at the time of ovulation. Now for ovulation this Graafian follicle is ready, and what will happen is that this Graafian follicle will reach the size of around 10 mm. So it will reach the size of 10 mm and it will be located just immediately below the cortex of the ovary. Now we enter the second stage of oogenesis with ovulation. Up till here, please note down, it is often asked as a short note. Write a short note on Graafian follicle, or write a short note on the developmental stages of primordial follicle or primary follicle, in which we have to reach through the primordial follicle, through primary follicle, through secondary follicle into mature follicle, which is known as Graafian follicle. So here we have entered our first stage of oogenesis. In the second stage of oogenesis, we will start with ovulation. This important topic of Graafian follicle is over. Thank you very much.